Have you ever sat in the quiet of your home, perhaps with a cup of tea in hand, and asked yourself, is this what aging is supposed to feel like? For millions of older adults, especially those over 70, solitude isn't just occasional, it's daily. Spouses pass on, children get busy, friendships fade, and before you know it, you're waking up to silence, eating in silence, and going to bed hoping tomorrow brings more color. But here's the gentle truth. Being alone doesn't mean being unhappy. It doesn't mean you're invisible. And it certainly doesn't mean your best years are behind you. In fact, for many seniors, solitude becomes the soil from which peace, purpose, and personal freedom grow. The question is, how do you plant those seeds? In this guide, we'll explore 5 real, research-backed, emotionally powerful habits that can help you transform loneliness into peaceful independence. These aren't fluffy suggestions. These are life-tested strategies, backed by senior psychologists, real-world elders, and everyday people just like you. Stay with me until the end, because not only will we explore these 5 practices, we'll tie them together into one empowering lifestyle you can start today. And if this video touches your heart, I invite you to leave a comment below, subscribe to our channel, and share this with someone you care about. Aging alone doesn't mean aging without joy. Habit 1. A meaningful daily routine. Let's begin with something deceptively simple, your daily routine. Because when you're living alone after 70, time becomes both a gift and a challenge. There are no deadlines, no bosses, no school bells. But there may also be no visitors, no invitations, and no urgent plans to get you out of bed in the morning. And over time, that quiet can feel heavy. That's why a structured, personal, and emotionally nourishing routine is your first and perhaps most powerful tool. Think of your routine not as a schedule to control you, but as a rhythm that carries you, like a steady heartbeat. It reminds you that today has shape, intention, and potential, even if no one else is around. Let me introduce you to Harold, 76. After his wife passed away and his children moved to other states, he found himself lost in time. Days blurred together. He ate at odd hours, stayed in pajamas till noon, and often fell asleep in front of the TV, only to wake up in the middle of the night disoriented. But one morning, after forgetting to take his medication on time for the 3rd day in a row, Harold decided he needed change. Not a drastic one, but something gentle and deliberate. He began a routine he now calls the 1-1-1. Every morning, he writes down 3 things. 1 task, laundry, walk, watering plants. 1 treat, a favorite dessert, a phone call with his grandson, sitting in the sun. 1 thought, a quote, a prayer, a memory. This tiny ritual gave his day structure. From there, other routines grew naturally. He eats breakfast at 8 a.m., does crossword puzzles before lunch, takes a short walk around 3 p.m., and listens to classical music every evening. The power of a routine lies not in complexity, but in consistency. A warm cup of tea by the window, 10 minutes of gentle stretching, a daily gratitude journal. These simple rituals remind your brain that you are alive, that this moment matters, and that life is still worth designing. Even neuroscience backs this up. Research shows that older adults with regular routines report lower levels of anxiety and depression, better sleep, and higher self-esteem. Why? Because when you know what comes next, your brain feels safe. And safety is the foundation of peace. Another key benefit, a sense of ownership. Creating your own routine says, this is my time. I choose how it flows. That simple truth builds dignity, which too often gets eroded with age. Here are some gentle suggestions to begin crafting your own rhythm. Wake up at the same time each day. It sets your internal clock. Start with a grounding activity. Make your bed. Sip warm water with lemon. Stretch your arms toward the sky. Build in movement. Even walking from room to room with purpose boosts your energy. Eat meals at regular times. Try plating your food nicely, even if it's just for you. End the day with a wind down. Dim lights, soft music, gratitude reflection. And don't forget the joy factor. Your routine isn't just about discipline, it's about delight. Add little things that spark joy. Fresh flowers on the table. A funny podcast. Feeding the birds. In the quiet of your home, your daily routine becomes your steady companion. It whispers, I still matter. This life still belongs to me. Habit 2. Emotional self-reliance. One of the greatest acts of strength in later life is learning how to become your own emotional anchor. When you're not surrounded by friends or family day to day, the silence can be deafening, but it doesn't have to be lonely. Emotional self-reliance is not about denying your need for others. It's about cultivating the inner strength to comfort, reassure, and steady yourself in their absence. You'll often hear people say, "I don't want to burden anyone," or "No one would understand." That's the moment where emotional self-support becomes essential. Start by becoming mindful of your inner voice. Do you criticize yourself more than you comfort? Are you replaying regrets instead of honoring your resilience? Try small affirmations. I did my best today. It's okay to feel this way. I'm here. I've got me. Remember Carol, 81. Every evening, she writes a line or two in a journal she calls her evening check-in. One night it reads, "I felt lonely at dinner, but I made a warm meal and sat at the table." This act of acknowledging and soothing herself gives her dignity. Your emotions matter, and you can be the one to hold them with gentleness. Breathing exercises, a calming mantra, a quiet walk with your thoughts. This is the muscle of self-kindness, and over time, it becomes your greatest ally. Habit 3. Finding joy in small sensory pleasures. When you're living alone, especially later in life, happiness doesn't always arrive in grand celebrations or exciting trips. More often, it's found in the tender, quiet details of your everyday surroundings. These are the small sensory pleasures that quietly remind you life is still beautiful. Your senses, sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, are powerful portals to the present. They don't require words. They don't demand company. They simply ask you to notice. Consider Ralph, 84, who peels an orange every afternoon and eats it slowly by the window. He says the smell reminds him of his childhood kitchen, and the taste, sharp, sweet, nostalgic, brings him comfort. That orange isn't just a fruit. It's a ritual, a connection, a form of self-love. Start observing your world through your senses. Feel the softness of your favorite sweater. Listen to the chirping birds outside your window. Watch sunlight play across the living room floor. Light a candle. Touch the pages of a well-read book. Let the steam from your tea warm your face. You don't need an audience to experience beauty. You don't need noise to feel alive. The creak of your rocking chair, the crunch of toast, the smell of fresh soap. All these tiny moments are offerings. And when you pay attention, they become nourishment. Why does this matter? Because presence, the act of being right here, right now, is healing. It anchors your mind, calms your nerves, and reminds you that you're not lost in time. You're in it, fully. So often, when we feel alone, we crave connection. But sometimes, what we really need is connection with the moment. Sensory joy is how we find that. Try making a simple list. 5 things you can see, 4 you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, 1 you can taste. Do this once a day, and notice how your awareness deepens. Let your world surprise you again, because even in silence, your senses are speaking, and they're saying, this moment is yours. Habit 4. Connecting indirectly with the world around you. Just because you may not have frequent visitors or close companions doesn't mean you can't feel part of something larger than yourself. The 4th habit is about building subtle but meaningful bridges to the world around you. Many older adults feel invisible. You walk through a grocery store and no one greets you. You sit at a park and feel unnoticed. But the truth is, connection doesn't always require deep conversation. It can start with something as small as a nod, a kind smile, or a warm hello. These gentle acts of engagement create what sociologists call weak ties. The brief, passing social moments that, surprisingly, have a strong impact on emotional well-being. Start by making small acknowledgments during your daily outings. Smile at the postman. Compliment someone's scarf. Make eye contact at the pharmacy. These aren't about making friends. They're about reclaiming your visibility, saying to the world, I'm still here. I still see you. There's a beautiful story of Dennis, 79, who leaves short, kind notes in random library books. Things like, this story made me laugh. Hope it brings you joy. Or, you're not alone. Keep going. He'll never meet the readers, but through those anonymous acts, he becomes part of a quiet human chain, an invisible kindness passed hand to hand. There are many creative ways to build subtle connections. Leave thank you notes in community spots. Volunteer from home by knitting for hospital patients or writing birthday cards. Wave at your neighbors, even if they don't always wave back. Comment on YouTube videos, like this one, with your own wisdom. Someone will read it. Even technology can be a bridge. Join online forums for seniors, participate in virtual museum tours, or leave reviews for your favorite small businesses. You may be surprised at how many hearts you touch without even realizing it. The key is to shift your energy outward in small, meaningful ways. You're not fading. You're still woven into the fabric of life. And remember, your presence matters. Even the quietest soul can leave ripples that spread far beyond what the eye can see. In the next section, we'll explore how to keep your mind alive with curiosity and why this might be the most powerful antidote to loneliness yet. Habit 5. Keeping your mind curious and learning. When the noise of everyday life fades and solitude settles in, your mind becomes your most constant companion. And here lies one of the most overlooked keys to lasting happiness in older age: curiosity. A curious mind doesn't just pass time. It brings color, purpose, and even excitement to your days. There's a harmful myth that after a certain age, learning is over, that mental growth belongs only to the young. But science and lived experience says otherwise. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections, doesn't stop at 70, 80, or even 90. In fact, your brain craves stimulation like your body craves movement. Take Frank, 82. After retiring, he found his days were quiet, too quiet. One afternoon, while walking past a bookstore, he picked up a book on watercolor painting. He'd never painted before, but that weekend, he bought a cheap brush set and started practicing by his kitchen window. A year later, he paints almost daily, not masterpieces, but pieces of peace. He says, "Every time I mix colors, I feel a little more alive, like I'm part of something again." Learning doesn't mean going back to school. It means feeding your curiosity, stretching your mind gently. That could be trying a new recipe with a spice you've never used, watching a documentary about a place you've never been, learning the name of each bird that visits your garden, practicing meditation or a new breathing technique, recording your life stories into a notebook for your grandchildren. Even something as simple as reading a poem each morning or solving a crossword puzzle can shift your brain into engagement mode. And engagement is the opposite of loneliness. It's attention, connection, growth. There's another quiet magic in this habit: self-reclamation. When you learn, you're telling yourself, "I'm still curious. I still matter. I still have chapters left to write." In fact, studies show that seniors who continue to challenge their minds enjoy better memory, improved emotional resilience, and even slower cognitive decline. But beyond science, there's soul. There's that spark when you discover something new, even in your 70s or 80s, and whisper to yourself, "I didn't know that before." You don't have to chase productivity. You just have to stay open to wonder. So try this. Keep a curiosity journal. Every week, write one question you want to explore. Then take small steps. Read, watch, reflect. It could be about the stars, your ancestry, a local plant, a famous poem, or your own past. Follow your own mind like a traveler with a map. In solitude, your mind is your world. Keep it open. Let it surprise you. Because a curious mind is not a lonely mind, it's an engaged one. And that engagement may be the most powerful bridge between quiet and contentment. So now let's step back. You've just walked through 5 powerful, practical, and heart-centered habits designed to guide you into a richer, more peaceful life, even if you find yourself aging alone. Let's recap for a moment. A meaningful daily routine gives your day shape and dignity. Emotional self-reliance builds strength from the inside out. Sensory joy reconnects you with beauty, even in stillness. Indirect connection reminds you that you still matter to the world. Lifelong learning reignites the spark of curiosity and purpose. These aren't just tips. They're invitations. Invitations to reclaim your time, your voice, your wonder, and your connection to life itself on your own terms. And maybe right now you're thinking, but it's not that easy. Of course it's not. These shifts take time, tenderness, and effort. But here's the quiet miracle. Small things done consistently change everything. You don't have to change your whole life overnight. You just need to choose one habit and begin. One deep breath when emotions rise. One walk at sunrise. One book you never thought to read. One smile offered to a stranger. These moments, stacked gently over days and weeks, build something powerful. Resilience with warmth. Peace with depth. Solitude with soul. And if no one's told you lately, you are not forgotten. You are not done growing. You are still becoming. This community sees you. We honor the courage it takes to keep living with openness, even when life feels quiet. So if this video spoke to you, leave a comment below. Share one thing you're going to try this week. Not for me, for you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you join our circle. Every week, we create gentle, wise content just for people like you. People navigating aging with grace, grit, and growth. Remember this: happiness isn't waiting in the crowd. It's blooming quietly where you water it. And your garden of joy can begin today, right where you are.